These aren't mistakes, just super accidents. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 superheroes who were created through accidents. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be taking a look at any superheroes that were granted their abilities through some sort of accident. Any type of mishap is allowed, and we will only be focusing on the comic book origins for these characters.
But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
Number 10, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And then, one day, I came upon a shattered glass jar and 4 baby turtles.
That was us. Shut up.
All of this began when a young boy tried to save a blind old man from an oncoming truck. A canister of toxic ooze fell out of the truck and shattered a glass bowl, sending the 4 turtles inside into the sewer below. While scavenging for food, a rat investigated and found the turtles covered in ooze and got covered himself. The next morning, they awoke to realize they grew in size and intelligence. The rat raised the turtles as his children, naming them after Renaissance artists, and taught them the art of ninjutsu, which he learned from his former owner. Clever play on Daredevil's origin, the TMNT have moved beyond being parodies of popular heroes to iconic characters in their own right. Number 9, Swamp Thing.
You dare threaten the green.
The story of the first Swamp Thing, Alex Olsen, took place in the early 1900s. Olsen was a scientist who was working on a biorestorative formula out in a swamp. During this time, his friend and colleague, Damian Ridge, was interested in Olsen's wife and jealous of him. Acting on his envy, Ridge set up a bomb in Olsen's lab. Olsen triggered the bomb, was caught in the explosion, and ran into the swamp to attempt to save himself from burning to death. The biorestorative formula Olsen created was then mixed with the swamp, and Olsen was saved, but was transformed into the Swamp Thing. The story was updated to the 1970s with a new Swamp Thing, Alec Holland, but the plot of a scientist sabotaged and nearly killed only to be saved by his creation remained a staple. Number 8, Jessica Jones. Another product of toxic waste, Jessica Campbell received her powers while fighting with her brother on a road trip with her family. The sibling spat distracted Jessica's father, who was driving next to a military truck carrying toxic materials. Her father ended up crashing into the truck, and Jessica awoke from the crash 6 months later. Jessica eventually learned that the rest of her family had died, and that she had been adopted by the Joneses. Feeling nothing but guilt, she returned to high school and was treated like an outcast. After lashing out on her way home, she discovered she had gained superhuman strength and the ability to fly. Number 7, Daredevil. While walking down a street in Hell's Kitchen, a young Matthew Murdock saw that a blind man was about to be hit by a truck. Rushing to save him, Murdock actually managed to push the man out of the way, but the truck swerved, spilling its cargo, which happened to be toxic. The chemical splashed into Matt's eyes, blinding him.
I can't see! I can't see!
However, as a result of his blindness, his other senses heightened. He also gained a radar-like sense and a sharper memory. After the death of his father, and years of training under the guidance of the mysterious Stick, Matt used his abilities to take revenge as the Daredevil. Number 6, Dr. Manhattan. In August 1959, a physicist named John Osterman forgot his watch in an intrinsic field separator. When retrieving it, the door closed behind him, trapping him inside. Unfortunately, there was no safety mechanism to stop the machine from activating or to open the door. When the machine turned on, John was separated at the atomic level, but somehow his consciousness remained. Over the course of 2 months, he reconstructed himself, appearing in various forms during that time. Reaching his final form, he was called Dr. Manhattan by the US government, and he attempted to use his godlike powers to help humanity. Number 5, Cyborg. Victor Stone was the son of 2 scientists who, at times, made him feel more like a lab subject than their child. Some of their experiments resulted in Victor gaining genius-level intellect. However, Victor resented this, and in high school, pursued sports rather than science like his parents wanted. One day, Victor visited his parents' lab and discovered that a being from another dimension had come through a portal. The creature consumed Victor's mother and dissolved parts of Victor before his father shut off the machine. Fearing that Victor would die, Victor's father used an experimental cybernetic suit and reconstructed Victor. While it saved his life, Victor was horrified, but later became the hero, Cyborg. Number 4, the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards was a successful scientist who created the first spaceship able to travel into deep space. Determined to launch the ship, Richards hurried and gathered his crew, his girlfriend Susan Storm, and her brother Johnny, and Reed's best friend Ben Grimm. Right before the mission, the project was cancelled, but Reed and his team launched the ship regardless. While in space, they encountered a cosmic storm that unleashed powerful radiation. After returning to Earth, the crew noticed they had changed. Reed became elastic, Susan could turn invisible, Johnny could become flaming, and Ben turned into a rock monster. They decided to use their powers for good and became the Fantastic Four. Number 3. The Hulk. Bruce Banner was a nuclear physicist studying radiation. He was later employed by the military and created a gamma bomb and oversaw the testing of said bomb. Before the test was about to begin, Banner discovered that a teenager had snuck onto the testing site. He rushed to rescue the teenager before the bomb was set to go off, and managed to push the teen to safety and shield him. However, as a result, Banner received massive amounts of gamma radiation when the bomb did go off. After the blast, he seemed unharmed. But later that night, Banner transformed into the then Grey Monster, who was deemed the Hulk by the military. Number 2. The Flash. Main 3. Oddly, all 3 main Flashes got their powers from some sort of accident. The original Flash, Jay Garrick, gained his powers after he knocked over a chemistry station and the resulting toxic fumes caused him to pass out. After a 3-week coma, Jay woke up with superhuman speed. The second Flash, Barry Allen, gained his superpowers after staying late at work in the Central City Police Laboratory. While working, Barry was struck by lightning and covered in nearby chemicals. This combo gave Barry his super speed. What's even weirder is that the third Flash, Barry's nephew Wally West, had the exact same accident while visiting Barry's lab. Same chemicals and all. Number 1. Spider-Man. We're sure you're all aware of this classic superhero origin by now. Peter Parker, a nerdy high school kid, was attending a school field trip relating to radiology. While at the trip, Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider. As a result, he gained the proportionate speed and strength of a spider, the ability to stick to surfaces, and a sense that warns him of immediate danger, which he dubbed his spider sense. After using his powers for his own gain, which led to the death of his uncle, Peter used his newfound powers to fight crime as Spider-Man.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.